Towering above the clouds, a titan of rock and ice cast a long shadow across the land. Mount Everest, a name synonymous with adventure, with human endeavor, with the very limits of our planet. Its peak, a piercing point against the azure sky, stands as a silent sentinel, a testament to the immense power of nature's forces. Everest, Chomolungma, as the Sherpa people know her, goddess mother of the world. For millennia, she has stood watch over the Himalayas, a silent guardian of the sky, 29,032 feet, an almost unimaginable height. To stand atop Everest is to stand on the roof of the world, to breathe the thinnest air, to touch the very heavens. But Everest's allure goes beyond its sheer size. It's a place of stark beauty, of unforgiving conditions where life and death dance precariously at the edge of the possible. The story of Mount Everest is a story of deep time, a narrative written in the language of tectonic plates and unimaginable pressure. It's a story that began millions of years ago, long before the first humans walked the earth, when the very continents were still in motion. Imagine, if you will, a time when the landmass that is now India was a giant island adrift on the ancient Tethys Sea. Slowly, inexorably, it drifted northward, driven by forces deep within the Earth's mantle. The inevitable collision with the Eurasian plate was cataclysmic, a slow-motion crash that would reshape the planet. The Earth's crust buckled and folded, forced upwards by the immense pressure. From this titanic struggle, the Himalayas were born, a majestic mountain range stretching for thousands of miles across Asia, with Everest its crowning glory. Even today, the mountain continues to rise, a testament to the restless forces that shape our world. Each year it grows taller, a fraction of an inch at a time, as if reaching for the stars themselves. The history of Mount Everest is not just the story of its geological birth, but also of the human desire to conquer, to explore, to test the limits of our own endurance. For centuries, the mountain remained unconquered, shrouded in mystery and legend. Local peoples, the Sherpas of Nepal and the Tibetans to the north, revered the mountain as a sacred place, home to gods and spirits. They made pilgrimages to its lower slopes, but the summit remained inviolate. It wasn't until the early 20th century that serious attempts were made to reach the summit of this formidable peak. The British, driven by the spirit of exploration that characterized the age, launched a series of expeditions in the 1920s, their every step fraught with danger. These were pioneers venturing into the unknown, equipped with rudimentary gear and fueled by an unquenchable thirst for adventure. Their stories, tales of courage and sacrifice, would become the stuff of legend. They paved the way for generations of climbers to come, those who dared to dream of standing on top of the world. To understand the birth of Everest, we must journey back millions of years to a time when the Earth's continents were engaged in a slow, relentless dance. Imagine, if you can, a world where the land masses we know today were fused together in a massive supercontinent, Pangaea. A world where the very ground beneath our feet was in constant motion, driven by forces we could scarcely comprehend. Deep within the Earth's mantle, molten rock churned and surged, creating convection currents that exerted unimaginable pressure on the planet's crust. The Earth, restless and ever-changing, began to stretch and tear at the seams. Pangaea, once whole, began to break apart, its fragments drifting across the viscous mantle like ships on a turbulent sea. Among these fragments was the Indian subcontinent, a landmass destined for a momentous collision. Year after year, century after century, India inched northward, its progress measured not in miles but in millimeters, a testament to the glacial pace of geological time. As India drifted, the ancient Tethys Sea, which separated it from the Eurasian plate, began to shrink, its waters slowly disappearing into the Earth's interior. The inexorable force of India's northward drift continued, and the pressure between the two continental plates grew to unimaginable levels. This relentless movement, spanning millions of years, was driven by the immense energy stored within the Earth's mantle. As India inched closer to Asia, the collision zone became a crucible of geological activity, setting the stage for one of the most dramatic transformations our planet has ever witnessed. The Earth's crust, no longer able to resist the immense strain, began to buckle, fold, and uplift in a dramatic display of geological power. This process, known as orogeny, saw the crust deforming and thickening, creating the foundation for what would become the world's highest mountain range. The sheer force of the collision caused rocks to metamorphose, changing their structure and composition under intense pressure and heat. Imagine the Earth groaning under the strain, its rocky skin wrinkling like an old apple as the Himalayas began to rise from the seabed. This was not a quick process, but a slow, almost imperceptible rise that took millions of years. Each wrinkle, each fold, was a testament to the incredible forces at work beneath the surface, shaping the landscape in ways that are both awe-inspiring and humbling. What was once ocean floor, home to silent creatures and ancient sediments, was thrust skyward, transformed into towering peaks and jagged ridges. Fossils of marine life found high in the Himalayas are a stark reminder of this incredible journey from the depths of the ocean to the roof of the world. The transformation was so profound that it altered the very climate and weather patterns of the region. The Himalayas, a testament to the raw power of plate tectonics, stretched for thousands of miles, a formidable barrier between the Indian subcontinent and the Tibetan plateau. This colossal range not only shaped the geography but also influenced the cultures and histories of the people living in its shadow. The mountains acted as a natural fortress, protecting ancient civilizations and fostering unique ecosystems. And among these towering peaks, Everest emerged, a colossal monument to the Earth's restless spirit. Standing at over 29,000 feet, it is the highest point on Earth, a symbol of nature's grandeur and the ultimate challenge for mountaineers. Everest's formation is a story of relentless upward thrust, driven by the same forces that created the entire Himalayan range. Its summit, a pinnacle of rock and ice, pierced the clouds, reaching for heights no mountain had dared to reach before. The peak, often shrouded in a veil of snow and mist, stands as a silent witness to the Earth's dynamic processes. The extreme conditions at the summit, with temperatures plunging well below freezing and winds that can exceed 200 miles per hour, make it one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. But Everest's ascent was not yet over. The mountain continues to rise, albeit at a much slower rate as the tectonic forces persist. This ongoing uplift is accompanied by frequent earthquakes, a reminder that the Earth's crust is still very much alive and in motion. The mountain's growth is a testament to the enduring power of the geological processes that shape our world. Even as the Himalayas continue to rise, the forces of erosion work tirelessly to shape and sculpt the young mountains. Rivers carve deep gorges, glaciers ground down the rock, and landslides reshape the terrain. This constant battle between uplift and erosion has given the Himalayas their rugged, dramatic appearance, a landscape in perpetual transformation. Wind, rain, and ice carved deep valleys and sculpted towering cliffs, their relentless assault giving the Himalayas their distinctive rugged beauty. The interplay of these forces has created a diverse range of habitats, from lush valleys to barren high-altitude deserts, each with its own unique flora and fauna. The Himalayas stand as a testament to the dynamic and ever-changing nature of our planet. As the Himalayas grew taller, the climate at their higher elevations changed dramatically. The air grew thinner, colder, and drier, and a new force emerged to shape the landscape: ice. Snow, falling on the upper slopes, compacted under its own weight, transforming into dense, glacial ice. These glaciers, rivers of ice flowing slowly down the mountain's flanks, carved deep U-shaped valleys, their relentless movement grinding away at the rock, shaping and polishing the landscape. Imagine the deafening roar of an avalanche as millions of tons of ice and snow thunder down the mountainside, reshaping the landscape in an instant. Picture the eerie silence of the western Kayam, a vast amphitheater-like valley carved by the relentless grinding of glaciers over millennia. Everest's icy armor, a testament to the mountain's extreme altitude, became both a defining feature and a formidable obstacle for those who dared to dream of reaching its summit. The glaciers, constantly on the move, created a dynamic and ever-changing environment, a labyrinth of icefalls, crevasses, and seracs that tested the limits of human endurance. For centuries, the people of the Himalayas, the Sherpas of Nepal, and the Tibetans to the north, lived in the shadow of these majestic peaks. They revered the mountains as sacred, home to gods and spirits, and their lives were inextricably intertwined with the rhythms of nature. Legends and stories about the mountains were passed down through generations, whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones. These tales spoke of yetis, the mythical creatures said to roam the high passes, and of the dangers that lurked on the slopes of the world's highest mountains. The people of the Himalayas understood the power of the mountains, their respect born from a deep connection to the land. They knew that the mountains could be both benevolent and unforgiving, providing sustenance and shelter, but also unleashing their fury in the form of avalanches, storms, and bitter cold. Their lives were a testament to resilience, adaptability, and a profound understanding of the delicate balance between humanity and nature. For centuries, Mount Everest remained cloaked in mystery, a colossal presence hidden amidst a labyrinth of lesser peaks and shrouded in local legends. The outside world, oblivious to its existence, went about its business, unaware of the giant that slumbered in the heart of Asia. It wasn't until the early 19th century, as the British Empire expanded its reach across the Indian subcontinent, that the veil began to lift. Driven by a thirst for knowledge, for exploration, and perhaps a touch of imperial ambition, British surveyors set out to map the Himalayas. Imagine these intrepid explorers, their instruments strapped to mules, navigating treacherous mountain passes and dense jungles. They faced scorching heat, torrential rains, and the ever-present threat of malaria. Their task was monumental: to create a detailed map of one of the most remote and challenging regions on Earth. The Great Trigonometrical Survey of India, as it was known, was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. For decades, these surveyors toiled tirelessly, their theodolites and chains their only weapons against the unknown. Year after year, the surveyors pushed deeper into the Himalayas, their measurements gradually revealing the true scale of the mountain range. From their observations, a startling fact emerged: a single, unnamed peak, designated simply as Peak 15th, towered above all others. Its height, calculated using complex trigonometric equations, was almost unbelievable: 29,002 feet above sea level. The discovery of Peak 15 sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It was a revelation that challenged the very notion of what was possible. Here in the heart of Asia stood a mountain taller than any other on Earth, a true giant among giants. The race was on to confirm the calculations, to refine the measurements, and to officially declare Peak 15 the highest point on the planet. The surveyors, once anonymous figures toiling in obscurity, became heroes, their names forever etched in the annals of exploration. The discovery of Peak 15 sparked a debate that raged for years. What should this colossal mountain be called? Some argued for a local name, one that reflected the history and culture of the people who lived in its shadow. Others favored a more Western moniker, a name that would resonate with the wider world. In the end, the decision fell to Andrew Waugh, the Surveyor General of India. Waugh, a man of science and reason, initially resisted the idea of naming the mountain after an individual. He believed that geographical features should bear names that reflected their local significance. However, he was eventually persuaded by the arguments of his colleagues, who pointed out that the mountain was so remote, so isolated, that it had no single, universally recognized local name. And so, in 1865, Peak 15 was officially christened Mount Everest, in honor of Sir George Everest, Waugh's predecessor as Surveyor General of India. The news of Mount Everest's existence and its staggering height captivated the imagination of the world. Here was a challenge unlike any other, a summit that seemed to beckon adventurers and explorers alike, the allure of the unknown, the desire to test the limits of human endurance, to stand on the roof of the world. These were the forces that drew people to Everest. The early attempts to climb Everest were fraught with danger. Climbers faced treacherous terrain, unpredictable weather, and the debilitating effects of altitude sickness. They lacked the specialized equipment and knowledge that we take for granted today. Yet they persisted, driven by a spirit of adventure and a thirst for the unknown. Each expedition, whether successful or not, added to the growing body of knowledge about the mountain. Each attempt, each triumph, each tragedy served to further cement Everest's place in our collective imagination. The early attempts on Everest were marked by both daring and tragedy. One name stands out from this era, a name forever etched in Everest lore: George Mallory. A British mountaineer with a steely gaze and an unyielding determination, Mallory embodied the spirit of adventure that defined his generation. He had already participated in 2 previous expeditions to the mountain, coming tantalizingly close to the summit but forced back by bad weather and exhausted supplies. In 1924, Mallory set out on his 3rd and final attempt on Everest. His words, spoken at a lecture in New York City before the expedition, would become legendary. "Why did you want to climb Mount Everest?" a reporter asked. Mallory's reply was simple, almost defiant: "Because it's there." On June 8th, Mallory and his climbing partner Andrew Irvine set out from their high camp, aiming for the summit. They disappeared into the clouds, never to be seen alive again. Mallory's last riddle, did they reach the summit only to perish on the descent, has haunted Everest historians for decades. For nearly 3 decades after Mallory's disappearance, Everest remained unconquered, its summit a tantalizing prize that continued to lure climbers from around the world. The Second World War put expeditions on hold, but the desire to stand on top of the world did not diminish. In 1953, a British expedition led by the meticulous John Hunt set out to finally conquer the mountain. The expedition included a young New Zealander named Edmund Hillary, a beekeeper with a quiet demeanor and a steely resolve. He was partnered with Tenzing Norgay, a Sherpa climber of unparalleled skill and experience. On May 29, 1953, Hillary and Tenzing stood on the summit of Mount Everest, the first humans to do so. The news of their triumph was met with jubilation around the world. Hillary and Tenzing became instant heroes, their names synonymous with courage, determination, and the indomitable human spirit. Yet, true to their characters, they remained humble, acknowledging the contributions of their teammates and the Sherpa people who had helped them achieve the impossible. The successful ascent of Everest in 1953 ushered in a new era of Himalayan climbing. Climbers, emboldened by Hillary and Tenzing's achievement, began to tackle the mountain from new routes and with increasing levels of technical sophistication. One climber, however, stood out from the crowd, a man who would redefine the very limits of what was possible in the mountains: Reinhold Messner. In 1978, Messner, along with his climbing partner Peter Habeler, achieved what many thought impossible. They climbed Everest without supplemental oxygen. This audacious feat, once considered suicidal, shattered the prevailing wisdom about the limits of human endurance at extreme altitude. Messner didn't stop there. 2 years later, he returned to Everest and, in a display of almost superhuman strength and determination, made the first solo ascent of the mountain, again without supplemental oxygen. Messner's achievements, pushing the boundaries of human potential in the world's harshest environment, cemented his place as one of the greatest mountaineers of all time. Today, Mount Everest continues to captivate the imagination of the world. It is a symbol of human ambition, a proving ground for the limits of our physical and mental endurance, and a stark reminder of the power and beauty of the natural world. Every year, hundreds of climbers from around the globe attempt to reach its summit, drawn by the same allure that drew Mallory, Hillary, Tenzing, and Messner. But Everest has also become a symbol of the challenges facing our planet. Climate change is rapidly melting its glaciers, threatening the livelihoods of the people who live in its shadow and altering the very landscape of the mountain itself. The increasing number of climbers has led to concerns about overcrowding and environmental damage, raising questions about the future of climbing on Everest. As we stand at a crossroads, the mountain seems to speak to us, urging us to find a balance between our desire to explore and our responsibility to protect the planet we call home. The icy flanks of Everest, once the exclusive domain of gods and legends, now bear witness to a different kind of pilgrimage. This pilgrimage is not one of spiritual seeking but of human ambition and the quest for personal glory. Climbers from every corner of the globe, driven by a primal urge to test their limits, gather here. They come with dreams as vast as the sky and as deep as the valleys below. They flock to its base camp, their dreams soaring as high as the mountain itself. Each climber carries a story, a reason, a purpose that propels them forward. The air, thin and crisp, crackles with anticipation. Every breath taken is a reminder of the thin line between life and the unforgiving elements. A blend of excitement and trepidation hangs heavy in the shadow of the giant. Faces reflect a mix of hope and fear, knowing that the mountain demands respect and humility. Everest, once a remote and inaccessible fortress, has now become a symbol of human determination and resilience. It now finds itself at the heart of a complex and often uneasy relationship between humanity and nature. The Sherpas, the true guardians of the mountain, guide climbers through this sacred landscape. The very forces that birthed this majestic peak, the relentless shifting of tectonic plates, have shaped its towering presence over millions of years. The sculpting power of glaciers carving their way through rock and ice, the enduring dance between rock and ice, a dance that has created the awe-inspiring landscape we see today. These natural forces are now being affected by the hand of humanity. The footprints left by climbers are a testament to our presence and impact. Climate change, that specter haunting our collective future, casts a long shadow over Everest. The mountain, once a symbol of permanence, now faces an uncertain future. It casts a long shadow over Everest, threatening the delicate balance that has existed for millennia. Glaciers, those frozen rivers that have flowed for millennia, are receding at an alarming rate. Their retreat is a stark indicator of the changes taking place. They are receding at an alarming rate, their meltwater forming glacial lakes that threaten to burst their banks. These lakes, once a source of life, now pose a significant risk, their meltwater forming glacial lakes that threaten to burst their banks. The potential for catastrophic flooding looms large. The delicate balance of this fragile ecosystem hangs precariously. The flora and fauna that have adapted to this harsh environment are now at risk, a stark reminder of our interconnectedness with the natural world. Everest stands as a testament to the beauty and fragility of our planet, urging us to tread lightly and with reverence. Yet even as we grapple with these challenges, Everest continues to inspire. Its towering presence is not just a geographical landmark but a beacon of human aspiration and resilience. The mountain stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of exploration and the relentless pursuit of dreams, no matter how insurmountable they may seem. Its towering presence reminds us of the immense power of nature, the enduring legacy of geological time, and the boundless capacity of the human spirit. The swirling clouds around its peak are like the whispers of ancient tales, stories of the Earth's formation, and the countless lives that have been touched by its grandeur. The stories of those who have climbed its slopes, from the early pioneers to modern-day adventurers, are woven into the fabric of our collective memory. These narratives are not just about reaching the summit, but about the journey, the struggles, the camaraderie, and the indomitable will to overcome. Tales of daring, of perseverance, of triumph and tragedy serve as potent reminders of what we can achieve when we push beyond our perceived limits. Each step taken on its icy slopes is a testament to human courage and the relentless pursuit of the unknown. Everest stands as a sentinel, a silent observer to the ebb and flow of human history. It has seen empires rise and fall, witnessed the march of progress, and stood tall as a symbol of nature's unyielding power. It has witnessed the best and worst of humanity, acts of incredible courage and selflessness, but also the consequences of our ambition and our disregard for the environment. The mountain, in its silent majesty, calls upon us to reflect on our actions and their impact on the world around us. It challenges us to confront our own mortality, to question our place in the grand scheme of things, and to find a path forward that honors both our desire to explore and our responsibility to protect this planet we call home. The mountain's imposing presence serves as a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and highest aspirations. The allure of Everest, it seems, will never fade. Its majestic peaks continue to draw adventurers, dreamers, and those seeking to test the limits of their endurance. The mountain remains a timeless challenge, a goal that inspires preparation, dedication, and an unwavering spirit. It is a timeless symbol of human aspiration, a testament to the enduring power of nature, and a stark reminder of the delicate balance we must strive to maintain. As we gaze upon its snow-capped peaks, we are reminded of the fragile beauty of our planet and the responsibility we bear to preserve it for future generations.